All right, so real quick, I'm just going to tackle this bipartisan border bill. It's a huge talking point when you're dealing with your average bitter Democrat. After all, they were right there with the be-all, end-all solution to the border crisis, and those bad Republicans said no. But being the talking point that it is, why did they say no? All right, so quick recap. Biden takes office January 20th, 2021. Immediately kills 3 major Trump policies regarding the border. Floodgates are open. I remember the big announcement, come one, come all, just make the trip. Illegals flood the country to the tune of 10 million, possibly plus. I personally think it's an indicator of a much larger problem, being that they don't know the exact amount of people that they've let in. And that's a big problem. If you're going to let them in, you could at least, I don't know, do a head count. You're telling me that they couldn't spare just one Border Patrol agent to just sit in the back, like 1, 2, 3,000, 400,000, 5 million. Okay, guys, I think it might be getting a little out of hand. So some We the Peoples decided to do something about it. On January 24th, 2024, Governor Greg Abbott declared a state of invasion by Mexico, alleging that the federal government wasn't fulfilling its obligation to take care of the border. In direct defiance to the Biden administration, Governor Abbott of Texas told the United States government, "Hold my beer, I've got this. And if you want a FAFO, you can get some too." Flash to May 23rd, 2024. This bipartisan bill is working its way through Senate, because that's all we want, man. It's going to fix the border. What Republican in his right mind would vote no to this piece of legislation? Let me check. All of them, except for one. That would be Lisa Murkowski of Alaska. So after this bill is sunk, Democrats do what they do best. They take a step back. They analyze where they went wrong, and they vow to do better in the future. Oh wait, that's Charlie Sheen. They went into gotcha mode. We were right there with this bill, and it was fair, and it was tough, and Orange Man hates you and Mexicans.
Had a priority, worked with the Senate in a bipartisan way to come up with a way to move forward on the border, on immigration. Republicans rejected it because of what the former president, Donald Trump, told them to do. Told them to reject that proposal.
The fairest and the toughest bill on immigration. But as soon as I was getting ready to pass and actually tackle this, Donald Trump said no. Told them to vote against it because it gives him a campaign issue.
If that bill were the law today, I'd shut down the border right now and fix it quickly. A bipartisan bill would be good for America, and Congress needs to get it done.
Vice President Harris, you were tasked by President Biden with getting to the root causes of migration from Central America.
Joe, put me in, Coach. I got to the bottom of it. It's your fault.
Do you know what happened to that bill? Donald Trump got on the phone, called up some folks in Congress and said, kill the bill. And you know why? Because he'd prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem.
So Democrats are very clearly blaming Trump. Let's ask Trump.
I noticed a lot of the senators are trying to say respectfully they're blaming it on me. I said, that's okay. Please blame it on me. Please.
So Trump has no problem taking credit for killing the bill. He called Congress. Fact check. True. Now let's check with the Republicans and see if they only shot it down because Daddy Trump told them to.
Why is this bill a terrible bill? Because it does not solve the problem. We have the worst rate of illegal immigration in our nation's history. People are dying. Over 100,000 people died of overdoses last year. This bill doesn't fix it. Understand, this border crisis is deliberate. Joe Biden caused it. He caused it by his own unilateral decisions. 3 decisions caused this crisis, all made the first week of his presidency. He inherited the lowest rate of illegal immigration in 45 years, and his first week as president, he halted construction on the border wall. He reinstated the disastrous policy of catch and release, and he pulled out of the unbelievably successful Remain in Mexico agreement. That caused this explosion. It also means Joe Biden could solve it tomorrow. How would he solve it tomorrow? By reversing those 3 decisions, and you would get, once again, a secure border. This bill normalized 5,000 illegal immigrants a day. 5,000 illegal immigrants a day works out to roughly 1.8 million a year. We've seen 9.6 million illegal immigrants under Joe Biden. Apparently, the Republican position was going to be, we don't like your 9.6, but we're okay with 2/3 of that illegal immigration. This bill gave work permits to illegal immigrants. This bill gave government-funded lawyers to illegal immigrants. You know, one of the provisions that I personally find most noxious This bill goes directly after the state of Texas. And it says all litigation about immigration, you can't sue in Texas anymore. You got to come to Washington, D.C., to one of the most liberal courts in the country. Texas, sorry, we're throwing you out of court in Texas. You got to come to D.C.
We received the text finally Sunday night with the plan, again, like whether it's the omnibus, whether it's the China bill, or all these bills, we get the text at the last minute. We're supposed to vote on it very quickly. The only thing I can think of is when people don't tell you information, you generally don't think of positive things about it.
Is it codifies an awful lot that we don't want. It normalizes thousands of people a day. It probably undermines a future president's ability to secure the border by having things like a discretionary threshold of 4,000. Well, what if you have a president in the future that wants to secure the border before it reaches 4,000? Have you undermined that president's ability? The fact that discretion to close the border ends after 3 years could also be used by liberal groups against a conservative president who wants to secure the border by saying, well, you thought you had that authority under the INA, but Congress didn't think you had it, so they passed this bill and they only gave the president that authority for 3 years. So the real tragedy of this process is that what the American people want, they're not going to get. And there was no reason for it.
I care much more about the American southern border, but I'm not going to vote for a border security package that doesn't do any border security. Thanks.
So let me get this straight. This bill cements the current border crisis into place with only a small compromise in the amount of crossings. It establishes a rule that the president is not to do anything unless crossings exceed 4,000 per day. And after 3 years, the president's to do nothing anyway. As a cherry on top, $60 billion in Ukraine aid on top of the $200 billion we've already sent. Yeah, I would treat this bill like Cal was going to treat Rover for killing that turkey. If you like what I do, please leave a like. They really help. Consider subscribing, and I will see you next time.
The border never closes. It keeps this invasion going in perpetuity. If this bill passed, the invasion that we are seeing never stops. And the Democrat governors who are telling you what's happening in their city, Eric Adams, liberal Democrat mayor in New York City, said illegal immigration is destroying New York City. That was 110,000 illegal immigrants. I don't disagree with him on that, but if 110,000 illegal immigrants are destroying New York City, what the hell do you think 9.6 million are doing to Texas and the rest of the southern border?